Okay, what do I have to say?
So just ask. I just asked you, hey, what is your profession, your name, your background, and all that.
So what I do for work is personal training. I mostly train people who speak Spanish. Um, it's really not my dream profession, but it's something that I have to do to get by. Um, anyway, I was born in the Dominican Republic. I've been here for 6 years now, and yeah, I'm in Massachusetts, and I don't really like it. It sucks here.
Is it because it's cold or something?
Oh, it's because it's full of people that are mostly liberals, and it's just like hard to find people with common views. So,
That's interesting. So wait, and so I have a friend that just came from DR too. And he said, so what are the politics of young people like you? Like, are they all more conservative as compared to the United States, or they're more liberal, or how are Dominican young people leaning politically?
um, well, I think that they mostly copy what they see on the media and
Uh, okay.
celebrities as well. So, like,
Mhm.
because they think some celebrity supports this type of person, they're gonna go with it. Um, I don't think that Dominicans are very smart when it comes to it because, like, like how America is globalized in terms of the media. They copy that too in their news as well. So like Telemundo and Univision, they copy everything that CNN mostly says, and I feel like they could be paid by the government to stick to a narrative. So I feel like people tend to listen to that and just stick with it.
Okay, so they're basically just parroting what the American media
Yeah.
says, and they're like, okay, we'll go with this. They sound smart. Let's just go with that. So I got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's probably it's lazy, but it makes a lot of sense. They don't have to come up with their own opinions. So you've been here
Yeah.
for 6 years. So you got here when you were still young in high school, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that must have been a little bit difficult to transition from DR to um American way of doing things. So uh when it comes to your politics, your perspective, would you say like you're religious or conservative or Republican, or you're just not crazy? How do you see it? How do you define yourself?
I would say that I'm a Republican that's conservative, but conservatism can have a lot of branches in it. Like it could,
Mhm.
people tend to use the word conservative too broadly. So like they would say,
Uh,
"Oh, I'm conservative because I support Trump," and because I just don't agree with children mutilation or like this crazy transgenderism
mhm.
ideology. Uh, but they could not be conservative in other aspects of their lives, like for example, uh, uh, being able to uh, stick to one person romantically, and, or religiously. They could be agnostic, so not conservative in every aspect of their lives. It's, I don't know.
So you're saying that people pick and choose what part of conservatism they like, and then discard the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I call it out all the time. Like what type of content I make. I make red pill like dating content,
Yeah.
and for the most part, you don't sound too excited about that.
Well, what do
uh,
you mean like by red pill? Because like, well, like what? I'm still confused about that content that you make. Because in a way,
okay,
like it has like things that I can agree with, but in other ways, like I don't know. Can you explain it?
you have your doubts.
Yeah.
So basically, the red pill, it was a term based off the movie The Matrix, where Morpheus, the character, holds out his hands and
Mhm.
says, if you take the red pill, you'll wake up and you'll, see like the matrix, like for what it is. Like, hey, it's not real. We're just living in a simulation. And if you take the red pill, you'll exit that and see it from the outside, which is what he chose. And that the whole movie was fighting against that virus, right? And the blue pill is like you just go on your day like nothing happened, like you go back into the simulation. So we commandeered that phrase, and to mean that waking up from like what men think is like the right way to do relationships with women, at all levels. So in 2003, there's this guy named Rollo Tomasi who is basically the guy who wrote the books, The Rational Male, and he took all these experiences from men as well as like people, Chateau Artiste and Rouge, uh, these content creators back in the day before even YouTube was a big deal, like 2000, early 2000s, late 90s, took all everyone's like observations about women and ourselves, men, and then they said, "This is the red pill. We're gonna call it the red pill." Now, fast forward a couple decades, and the knowledge has been passed down, and now we have people that made it mainstream, and that's how you heard about it, right? Because it was always like on the internet and a blog somewhere hidden away. We were, it was like Fight Club. No one ever talked about it in public. We just went to the internet. Hey, my wife doesn't like me anymore, or hey, how do I get girls, or something like that. And then now it's become popularized, and when something becomes popularized, it kind of cheapens. Everyone thinks they're an expert on it. Everyone thinks they know everything, and then there's a lot of bad actors that use it to like make themselves rich, or to manipulate, or to get clout and fame off of people's uh, anger and frustration with the opposite sex. So it brings us to this point where I've been looking and reading this stuff since like 2013, and I've always was interested in how the genders kind of like interacted with each other. And then I did a lot of dating myself, and I learned a lot about women, but I never came out the other side bitter. I just came out understanding them more, a little bit more compassionate for them, and a little bit more secure in myself and what I wanted. And not a lot of guys ever get to that point. They stay angry their whole lives at women, and then, they never leave. So basically, that's the red pill. It's just, hey, people do things for a reason. It is not a group of people. It is not like, hey, it's not an ideology. It's not a religion. It's not a cult. It's like a tool, like a wrench or a hammer, right? When you don't need it, you don't use it. When you need it, you come get it, fix what you're gonna fix, and then you go back, and you leave it behind you. You don't talk about it ever again. So, yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully that cleared it up for you. It's a little confusing at first, but it's like everyone wants to say, "Oh, you're a red pillar." I'm like, that's not an identity. I'm a engineer from Dallas. I am Dominican. Those are my identities, right? Not I read blog posts on the internet. So yeah. Does that answer your question a little bit, or did I confuse you even more?
Mm, it answers it a little bit, but like,
Okay.
it,
Glad I could clear it up at least a little bit.
yeah. So, does it believe um in the idea of marriage?
Yes. So what happens is, uh, and I know you probably had this question with me, and maybe I forgot to answer it or whatever. But the problem is that a lot of people think that red pill has to do with like degeneracy, and like if you're a red pill, you have to sleep with all the women in the world, or if you're a red pill, you have to like dominate women and like be whatever, have four wives, whatever people think it is. The thing is, it depends on the man, right? It's what I want, the man who's using it, right? So if a man wants to have a wife, then there are things and people that know how to have a successful marriage that you would go to and be like, hey, um I want to get married. What do you have to do? And then there's people that say, hey, I don't want to get married, I just want to be single for now or forever, whatever they want. So that's the big confusion, is that it's not like, hey, do this or do that. It's like whatever you want to do, we have the notes and the tools so you can get that. And that's what confuses a lot of people, because um marriage isn't for men, it isn't like the end goal. Our end goal is to keep improving and being better in life, right? Marriage is just an eventuality. If you are a man that is in shape, that has goals, and cares about himself, his appearance, eventually some girl is going to want to marry you, right? That's normal, people do that. But the problem is that because of the way women are innately plus technology, there's a lot of challenges for men to stay or to get and stay married. So we trade notes on to keep marriages together, or if you don't want your marriage, how to exit a marriage like as best you can. So that's basically red pill the praxology, how it has to do with marriage. It does not say don't get married, but it does not say do get married. It says what do you want, and once you know what you want, then go for it.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like because like the conservatives like will be like you have to get married, if not you're a degenerate, and then the degenerates are like, hey, don't get married, it's a scam, have sex with lots of women and whatever. The truth is that it depends on what the guy wants. Like people have agency, and that's another thing that conservatives fail to understand is that men and women have agency, right? Like women and men get to decide what they want for themselves. This isn't a team sport, you know. Women and men get to decide excuse me, what they want for their lives. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but one path can lead you to more loneliness than the other, I think, because like if you were to have multiple partners, like because you don't want to get married and you're afraid of marriage,
Hmm.
um, and you feel like you can't find somebody loyal because of all this technological horror bullshit, then
Hmm.
I feel like you are gonna get to a point where on your deathbed, you're gonna wish that you perhaps had that person to be loyal to long term by your side. Um, I mean, death is so unpredictable, and everybody is gonna die in different ways. But
Hmm.
like if you're like, for example, burning in a car, like would you be thinking about all the women that you had sex with and never stalk too seriously because you
And
were afraid of.
that's a bad scenario. Wow, I hope that never happens to me. But I get you. Yeah, that was very specific. Did you just watch a movie or something?
Nah, nah, I'm just saying, like, I'm just putting it into perspective. Like, if
No,
you
I
were,
understand what you're saying.
if you were like in a situation like that, would you be thinking about all the women that you had sex with, or would you be regretting that you didn't try to find somebody that stuck loyally to you? Because like I understand, nowadays it's very hard to find somebody that can stick by your side, and you might end up getting more hurt if you give uh, a lot of your life to that person. Um, but like at the same time, like is it worth the sacrifice at the end, or no?
Yeah. But the thing is, that's for every individual to decide, right? For me, um, what a lot of especially conservative women kind of have a hard time grasping is that most women don't want to be in relationships. Um, and as a guy, you don't know that all the time. I've had women that I've gotten treated better and more like a boyfriend from women that didn't want a relationship with me than women that were in a relationship. And that was very confusing to me. I was like, why? What, at first, I've gotten lots of gifts. They've cooked and cleaned my apartment, or cooked for me, cleaned my apartment. They even listened to me when like, what do I wear for this date? They were like basically my girlfriend, but they didn't want a relationship. So, um, I try to take my ego out of it. Like in my male mind is like that's BS, like that's not fair. But I have to look at it from like a female, what a woman is thinking and feeling. And the thing is like when you're a single woman, the world is at your feet. There's men that are giving you free stuff, free money, free trips, free clothes, free attention. You get to do whatever you want. Women have money now; they get to travel, but if you get a boyfriend, that guy's not gonna let you do everything. Plus, he could cheat on you, or like you said, leave you. So what a lot of women do is like, hey, I'm just gonna have these pretend boyfriends, or a boyfriend that lets me do whatever I want. Which I'm sure you've seen, like the dominant girl and the weak guy that lets her do whatever she wants, just in case something better comes along. Because I'm too scared to put everything, all my eggs in one basket. um, here, and that's understandable. It's like the too much choices, um, and a lot of women can't choose or too scared to settle down because it's risky. Like you said, like a guy can leave you at any time, and that's a risk women have. What if you're pregnant, or right, or what if you're going through a bad time, or what if you're having a shared mortgage or something, and the guy's like, no, thank you. And guys, we have the same fear.
Mm.
I know it's not fair, but it's just we have to deal with this somehow.
Well,
Um,
that's not my experience because I'm not getting anything for free.
I don't
I'm
know,
just
like, but you know that like if you were not that you would ever do that, right? But if you were to go like on a sugar dating website, or if you were to go to a bar, or if you had like you went on a date with a guy that had a little bit of money, all those situations are options for you, and a lot of women are. Not saying the majority, excuse me, majority are not right, but more and more every day, more women are choosing to get free stuff from men instead of relationships because they don't have to deal with any of the responsibility that comes with being a girlfriend. They can just get it for free.
yeah, but in exchange of what? What do you mean by free? Because I think that everything has a price.
Nothing.
They're not getting things for free because they have to give something in return. Like, for example, men want something sexual, obviously. So men are not gonna be just kind to you and give you a gift just because they want to, just because you're beautiful.
American men are
Because
not, but
because
American men
wait
will give it
wait
away.
no no, because if if that was the case, I would get stuff for free all the time because I'm beautiful, because I'm very attractive.
Oh,
I could be getting stuff for free all the time, but I don't. I gotta give something in return in order for me to get something from the men.
yeah,
And
but
what
like
is
you're
that?
you're smart and logical, right? You understand that like, hey, like you shouldn't be accepting free things from men. But here's the thing now. We have buffers, meaning that women are not there is no law that says that if you give something to a woman, she has to give you sex in return, right? That women are protected by law because of that. Like, and also you'd be surprised. I dated a girl who uh she was a violin teacher, and one day she said, hey, I have this friend. She was telling me about her students, right? Because she teaches violin, and one of her students was wealthy, and she said, yeah, I go to teach him violin. Sometimes he buys me bracelets and takes me out to dinner and all that stuff. And I'm like, hey, like that's a little weird for a friend to do that. Usually my friends like maybe buy a round of beer for me or something. But um then I told her like, hey, that guy's likes you. That guy's trying to is into you, right? So if you're a young girl and you always know in the back of your head, if worse comes to worse, you can always rely on men to like come in and save you, then you don't need to get into a relation. The incentive is not there. There's no reason to go into a guy's life and have him tell you, don't wear this, don't go this, don't do that. And for conservative women, that's hard to understand because you guys most likely have a upbringing where that's shameful, right? But for the average woman, it's not. It's like normal. It's a normalized thing in America now.
What's normal? Giving sex in return to for attention and like gifts and shit.
Depends on depends on the girl. Like I always said, it's a spectrum, right? There's some girls that don't even know it's happening. They'll just have a friend that gives them free stuff, and they'll think, "Oh, he's just friendly." But deep down, that guy is trying to get to her heart somehow. And then there's girls that like literally go out and say, "Hey, I'm on this website. If you give me this amount of money, I will come over and sleep with you." It's like a spectrum. It's not like black or white. It depends on where you are. And then there's girls that say, "Hey, I take off my clothes and you pay a subscription to me, and I'll take off my clothes twice a week for you." So it's a spectrum. But even if I don't do that or you don't do that, it still has an effect on our lives, right? Do you understand? Like because this is becoming more of a thing, both of us, men and women, especially men and women that are single and dating, are going to have to deal with the ramifications of this. And the red pill has the answers to how we deal with this new dating landscape. I know it may seem hopeless sometimes, but especially for a woman like you, because what happens is now that men can have easy men that worth a damn, men that like care, have money, job, goals, future, takes care of themselves. Um, Now that they have a the ability to have easy sex, like why would they get into a relationship as well? And that's the issue here.
Yeah, that's a huge issue. But like the thing is, I've never like met a man that has it all together. So like, I haven't experienced like that aspect. Like, oh, a successful man that has like his career set. He has everything going on for him, but he's not looking to date because he he can get easy sex nowadays. Um, I haven't experienced that because I think I've dated people that are still constructing their lives, and I was willing to stay,
Mhm.
construct like their lives with them. I mean, our lives together in a way. So like that's where I was. However, like it's like I would say I don't want to put anybody on the spot here,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
fine. It's fine. This is anonymous.
I dated two so-called conservative, and I would say that because like as I said, you can be conservative in other aspect in one aspect and not in the other. um
Interesting.
like we agreed because we both like Trump and believe in things that are politically right wing, um
Mhm.
but also um like in a way like because of how I think how easy feminism has made things possible nowadays. Like they did not agree with the same type of conservatism that I follow, and my definition of it is like the preservation of traditional values to the best of your abilities.
Mhm.
With that comes romance, and I think that nowadays men are so dry and they're not romantic because they think that they can just get sex easily. Perhaps that, and also like the fact that it's just like everything is so technological nowadays. Like you don't hear men writing women letters. um
Mhm.
you don't hear them giving them flowers like that and stuff. I mean, that was my experience though, but I know that a lot of men do that. um but like if I have to like sort of bring up with espérate, que se me olvidó la palabra.
You, you
uh,
got it. You got it.
if I have to be subtle, and like bring up if you would give a woman flowers, like what do you think about flowers? If I have to do that, then obviously I'm with the wrong type of man, because like I don't want to tell a man what to do. I don't want to tell a man what he should do for me. And like it's just like it feels at this point like things are just not right. Like romance barely exists. Like it's just like so disheartening in a way because it shouldn't be like that. And yeah, even if I related to those men because we had similar ideas, um it was still very hard, because we didn't connect fully, and that made us clash a lot. Like if I have to hear one more time that I don't think flowers are a big deal because they can rot easily, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because like I've heard it twice already and I don't want to hear it.
So you want flowers. So you want flowers. That's very important to you. I could tell.
Nah, it's not about the flowers though. It's about the thoughtfulness of it. So
You just
like
want a guy to care enough so he can give you flowers without you asking or anything. Like
yeah, and you don't even have to buy the flowers, because I also heard, oh, spend $20 on a bucket of flowers so that they rot the next day. Like what?
I mean, that's nothing. I spent $20 on McDonald's. I see your point.
Like what? And they like it's just it. You can go to a field and pick up the flowers yourself. It's about the thoughtfulness of it. It's about the romance. But nowadays, romance has died. Like it's just like, it's just, I'm just gonna take you out to dinner. I'm just gonna take you to a nice place, and that's romantic enough for the both of us. Like what? That's not.
So, so you want romantic gestures and all
Yeah,
that. That's what you need. Do you need that in a relationship or while the guy is getting to know you?
I need it in both because like I feel like in a relationship you gotta keep up the spark. So
Okay, so yeah, in a relationship, I can see it. It makes a lot of sense, right? Like, my it depends on the woman too. Some women are just like, hey, they prefer a little nice dinner once in a while, a date, like movies or something, you know.
mhm.
Like, hey, put on this dress, let's go for an adventure or something. But I see what you're saying, and the thing is, in terms of courtship, um, a lot of men have done these things, especially when they were very inexperienced, and we got punished for it. Men get punished when we lead with like things like that, like romantic gestures, money, comfort, all that stuff. So that's why you don't see it anymore. It's because other women are like ill, like because everyone in the whole world is giving them praise and comfort and all that stuff, and they have men trying to fighting to give them money and fighting to give them flowers, that it becomes boring and it becomes to them, even if you mean it, if it's sincere gesture, it becomes insincere. It becomes like, hey, if I give you flowers, then you have to give me your time, you know, and that's not how humans work. So essentially, men stopped doing that because it just women were punishing us for it. They didn't. Most women do not like those kind of gestures. Um, before a before you get to know her and actually she's like your girlfriend or something serious, right? So that's just was something you're gonna have to deal with. If you're dating, you have to understand it's not like, don't blame women or don't blame men. Just blame the fact that, hey, so many men are giving so many women free stuff without even knowing them. That women don't even think it's sincere, right?
Mm, I guess, but I
Yeah,
mean,
because what if it's a guy you don't like and he gives you flowers and you're just like now you feel like you owe them something, right? And you don't want to owe them anymore, like you were saying earlier. Like a guy that's giving you all these romantic gestures that you don't like, you're gonna feel like owing them, and that makes you even more angry. Like I don't blame anyone for feeling like that. But if it's a guy you like and you know you're into him, and he says, "Hey, I got you this this one rose, or I get you this for Valentine's Day," then you're actually gonna like that. So it all depends too if you like the guy. It's like a step, like it's you can't put the cart before the horse. It's like he has to be you have to be attracted to him and all that before you start giving flowers and stuff. Before he starts giving you romantic gestures.
no, and I agree with that too. But I wouldn't like try to date him if I didn't like him. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, you can't give flowers like day one. Like you can't. You have to be interesting and funny and charming and all that. You have to lead with that because if we lead with the other, then we usually get embarrassed or like women feel kind of grossed out by that stuff. And it's it's the way it is. It's the dating market. We can't really control it. Yeah, but uh, yeah.
I
So, is
mean,
there anything else about my content that you like or dislike, or just what do you agree with and what do you disagree with?
well, going back to the day one thing, like, like,
Oh, you want to go back to that? Okay.
yeah, if it's like for the first date, no, I don't expect like flowers the first date. But if like after the first date we vibe and stuff, um, the second date will be a nice time to do that. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So going back to the other question, what about my content do you like or do you not like?
Well, mm,
Or do you agree with or disagree with or whatever? What's your opinion overall?
um, um,
All right, no opinion at all. Okay, moving on.
no, no. No, I'm thinking on it because like now I forgot a lot of stuff. I see a lot of stuff and I get angry, so I reply quickly. That's something I have to work on. But um,
Like a true Dominican woman. There you go.
uh, um, I like this thing about um just being with multiple partners and experiencing different partners without any form of like faithfulness to them or loyalty. Like I don't like it, to me that seems like polygamy, something like that.
Polygamy, yeah.
Yeah, that and like I just, how are you gonna be able to settle down with somebody at some point? Like isn't that what the goal is in the long term?
I mean, like I said, it depends on the man. But if you're asking me personally, yeah, I would like a family one day. Here's the thing. There's two things here, right? Um, again, like I said before, most women don't want to be in relationships, right? The women, unless they're like old, like 35, 34, and they've had their fun and they're like full of debt and mental illnesses and SSRIs, then that's when they want a relationship. And me as a guy, I don't want to deal with that. Just like you don't want to deal with a guy that's broke, right?
Yeah.
Um, and on top of that, uh, you need experience with women in order to be able to have a successful relationship, right? Um, you don't want a guy that's inexperienced because he won't know how to handle you on your bad days. He won't know how to uh take what you say and what you like, because sometimes like women will be mad about something and it's never what they say they're mad about. It's always something else. And unless you have experience with women, you're going to get into an argument with your wife or your girlfriend, and it's going to ruin her week, or you're going to have a big argument. It's going to put the relationship um, at risk. But if he had experience, he would be like, he'd be like, Mira, yo sé que no es por esto. What's really bothering you? And then you see how he learned how to communicate. He understands that when women say something, they mean this, and vice versa. And hey, he even may understand, like, hey, this woman wants flowers, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it to her Thursday, and then I'm not, and she's gonna get mad at me, and then on Saturday morning, I'm gonna wake her up with all these two her favorite flowers. And men understand, like, you have to be make your girl a little mad sometimes, but then at the same time you have to give her the comfort too. And that will keep you happier because that guy knows you and knows how to talk to you, rather than a guy who's married as a virgin or married with a very low body count. It's about
Yeah,
experience.
I guess so. But
Yeah,
like,
I know you don't like that answer, but
but like if you I well I do agree with it. You gotta have experience with women in order to be able to handle them, you know. But not every
exacto.
woman
Tú
is
no
the
quieres
same.
un ñemo, tú no quieres un ñemo, y tú quieres alguien, un caballero, alguien que sabe hablar con la mujer. Do you
Yeah,
understand?
yeah, like of course. But like at the same time, I mean, yeah, experience is important for men, and I don't disagree with that. But as a woman, experiencing multiple men sexually, it's gonna end up messing you up mentally because um you're opening up yourself to many men, and a lot of them are gonna take a piece of you, whether you want to believe it or not, because when you're like having intercourse with them, you're exchanging energies, and you're gonna realize that none of those men loved you. Like what's more important, the experience or the love? Like at the end of the day, like sex has become a hobby. Unfortunately, it hasn't become something that, I mean, it hasn't remained something that is intimate, and that it's like inherently intimate with somebody. It just has become a hobby. So like as a woman, that type of experience with different men, it's gonna mess you up. It's gonna end up messing you up. Not so much for men, obviously, but like it could be different for everybody, because as a man you can have multiple partners, and because of that you have relationship ADHD. You're not able to settle down with one woman, so you're gonna scroll down social media and look at different pictures while being with somebody, because you're not just not able to settle down. Like it's just the culture. The culture has ruined, like has made everything much more complicated than it should be. You know?
Yeah, but let me ask you this. Now that like sex is easy, doesn't that, wouldn't that mean that now women have to bring something more to the table in order to get a guy?
Yeah, because like I mean, I feel like a lot of women just have a bunch of the same. They
Exactly.
yeah, they act like they're twins.
Yeah, like I'll tell you like there are most of the women I've been with have been like nothing special, but then there's some women that stand out. Do you know what stood out about those several women that kind of did like stood out in my life that I was like, hey, if things go well, this might be a relationship. Maybe this could help you, right? So one of them was competence, like the girl was not lazy. Um, Men that have goals that are worth a damn, that stay in shape, that are able to get multiple women are also most likely go-getters. They don't like lazy. They're surrounding themselves against with hardworking people and all that. So they don't want a lazy woman in their life. Like a lot of women have this dream about being a stay-at-home wife, but most high-performing men don't want that. They want a woman with their own thing because they want to see that she's not lazy, that she's not going to get overweight. But you're a personal trainer, so absolutely no, you're never going to have an issue with that. Um, so that's one thing that really stood out to me is like, hey, she works hard. And not only that, she had like family issues, but she never made the family issues an excuse not to get things done and have time for me. Right. Even though she didn't want a relationship with me, but she always made time. She always dressed she was a classy dresser and all that stuff. And she was very kind and feminine and girly, right? And that was very impressive to me because I got to log into the timeline every day and watch these stay-at-home moms. Men aren't good enough. I'm like, what do you do all day? Like there's Roombas, there's air fryers. Like, don't tell me you think, there's women that have a full-time job and get home and they love cooking and cleaning for their husband. They can't wait because they love their husband. Meanwhile, you're complaining that you have to like do one thing extra and that being a stay-at-home mom is so difficult, right? So that's one thing that stood out to me. Another thing that stood out to me is that they just stuck around. They just, they were like, hey, can I see you this weekend? Hey, can I see you this weekend? Hey, can I see you this weekend? And then eventually I'm like, hey, this girl really likes me.
Yeah,
Maybe it's worth, like obviously she knows that I'm probably seeing other women, but she said, hey, I want this guy and I don't care. I'm going to do what it takes. So that also stands out because it shows like investment. And like you said, in this day and age, no one really is invested in anyone. They're just like, okay, cool. Hey, you're not perfect. Next. Hey, you're not perfect. Next. Hey, you're not perfect. Next. So to see someone actually like stick around and show me like, hey, I could have other people, but I choose you, it's a very big kind of like sign of investment,
yeah.
you know? And then another one, let me try to remember. Another trait in women that stood out to me as a man was um one second. Um Oh, sociability, how social she was.
Hmm.
One of the things that men look at with women is that how she interacts with her family, how she interacts with her friends, and how she treats service personnel like waiters and bartenders and things like that.
Yeah,
Um, Things like that. Is she nice and kind and all that? Because as you can see, there's a lot of mean women in the world. There's a lot of mean women that curse, that want to fight, that want to argue, that think that they're better than men. And I don't think I'm better than any woman. I just want you to be nice. I would just want you to be able to take you to a public place. I want you to be, presentable and all that stuff. And those things, even though we don't expect them, because the bar is on the ground right now. Those are the things that stood out to me. Now, I'm not every man, right? But I think the most impressive thing out of everything was watching a woman be competent and not complain so much. Like, I gotta go do this. I gotta get this done, this done, this done. Okay, I'm seeing you at 5. And that's very impressive in today's age where everyone's lazy and fat and doesn't want to like do anything, and it's just complaining the government and this and that and feminism. And I'm like, yeah, but like that's you got to live your life. That doesn't mean you give up, right? So just some insight. I don't know what's your take on that.
No, I agree because like in a way like it depends on how you take politics. If you take politics to a level to victimize yourself, then you're just doing exactly what the government wants you to do. Believe that everything's bad and you're not gonna be successful, and like you're not gonna have a good life. You're gonna exactly believe what the government inherently wants you to believe. I mean, most of the democratic government, and stick to it and just uh stick in a way of victimhood and um like not be able to grow. Um, but like um Trump said the other day, I don't know why I just thought of that, but Trump said the other day that the best way to beat depression is to work your ass off. And like that, saying that, and then nowadays it's gonna like make everybody crazy because like liberals are like, what do you mean? Depression's real. And uh, people actually like kill themselves every day for it. And there's a situation where we have to fix it. Yeah, I guess, but like at the same time, a lot of that happens because we enable depression to exist. Like we enable this victimhood culture in saying that you're oppressed and saying that you're less by saying it's okay to feel whatever way you feel. That's just not right. So um like that's the thing about conservatism that's very important that a lot of people don't understand and they don't see. It's that we're not sticking to the narrative of like depression or like I mean just you know all those
Yeah.
things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how I cured mine. I just worked my ass off in my 20s.
Yeah.
And that's all I did. I just worked my like, and yes, I was like, there was a baseline level of like, I miss my family because I was in the Navy. I want a normal life and all that, but deep down, I'm just like, this is gonna end one day. This is gonna pay off. And even now, when I have I never take it too seriously. I'm like, yeah, I'm sad because look, there's no sun. It's the winter, so there's that. I'm Dominican. I need sun. You know, um, hey, I'm not doing the things I like to do, so maybe I should go play piano for a little bit. And hey, I haven't have I exercised in the last couple? Oh yeah, I had to skip out in the gym because of this, so I'm going to go to the gym today. And then little by little, like yeah, maybe at the end of the day, I'm a little down, but at least I did something. I took action and all that. And another thing I learned, and this was also one of the most impressive things that I've seen from women I'm dating, and I kind of like as a leader in the military, I kind of did this too. I never made my personal problems more important than the other person's problems.
Hmm.
So, and women, they'll look at you and they'll be like, "Get that pasa? I know something's wrong." Women are really good at. As a man, you try to hide it, and you girls are like, you something's wrong. Tell me." Um, you know how it is. But I never try to make my personal problems like bigger than the bigger than the other person's problems. I try to say, "Hey, everyone has their problems," and I'm not trying to because I've had friends that like for a year they would be like, "My girlfriend left me and my life's falling apart for like a whole year." I'm like, "Dude, like you need to move on. You need this. You're putting this on us. Like that's very unfair and all that." So to see a woman do that with everything in her personal life happening, and then she still came and we'd go out and she'd have a big smile on her face and still be full of life. I just thought like that's the meaning of life. It's despite what happens, putting a smile on and moving forward and not making your life the focus of everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got a little philosophical there, but you get it. You get it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to ask me? Any questions or anything? We're still friends, right? You're not gonna unfollow me after this, right?
No, no. I was just wanted to clarify, not to be materialistic, but I know I mentioned a lot about the flowers, but like,
It's only 20 bucks. Let's look at I'm gonna look it up now. Keep talking.
no, but like, well, granted, one of them did give me flowers, but when I heard, like when I heard that it could rot, like from him, it just like made me believe that it was just not gonna work out in the long term. Like he did give me flowers after I mentioned about the flowers, and I didn't mention it in a way like, "Oh, why haven't you given me flowers yet?" I just said, "What do you think about gifting flowers?" um,
Uh,
and like, but like I knew that if you say that to me, I just knew that it wasn't gonna work out in the long term. And I just think that like you have to be country because because I just feel like people from the country think differently about these things. Like a lot of them would just pick up like wildflowers. Like for example, in the southern, I mean in the south, there's a lot of that, right? So like
Mhm.
they would just pick it up. Like if you can get creative and thoughtful, like that costs no money, and like you can give your wife or your girlfriend like flowers like a buck. ¿Cómo se llama? Un ramo de rosa o un ramo
Bouquet,
de flores.
a bouquet of roses.
Yeah, that. No, not roses, like flowers. Cause like if you go to like the wildlife in Texas or the South, like you can find a lot of wildflowers. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
What's your favorite type of flower?
like any depending on the man. Like I
You
mean,
don't even care. You just want something.
depending on what the man can give. Like that's what I'm saying.
Well,
It's
with the
the
picture you sent
thoughtfulness.
me, okay, so depending on the color of roses can be a little experiment. So a dozen roses is 15 bucks, but if you get if it's same day delivery, it's more expensive. So he has to plan it out.
Yeah,
And
but like
if you go to the store and pick it up, it's really cheap though. If you go to like the grocery store and pick it up because you know it's right there. You don't there's no delivery or anything. You just gotta grab it and go. So there you go. It's not that expensive, guys. We're all gonna send you flowers. We're all gonna send you flowers.
no, no,
Wait, can I
that's
say your
not what
name
I
or
want.
no? You want me to
What?
not say your name?
Oh, you could say my first name, but not the last. I mean, I didn't say the last name anyway.
Yeah, I don't even know your last
Yeah.
name. So, guys, Estrella wants flowers. So we're all gonna send her flowers. Send her. I'm gonna send her the red ones. You guys send her different color ones, and then we'll call it a day. Así, ya, así no te tienes que quejar tanto. You know, we'll start a GoFundMe. You'll have flowers every week.
No. But like, you live in Texas, right?
Yes.
So is there like, have you been like to the countryside of Texas? Because I know that you live in
Hmm.
a very gay area of Texas. So like,
There's a so the east side of Texas is full of uh trees, like lots of trees.
mhm.
So you could probably find flowers there, but then the west side of Texas is just like brush and desert. So
Oh
yeah, I have to look at a map, but I'm not gonna go drive to go get you flowers. All
no,
right.
no, that's not what
I
I
am off
meant.
this. I'm gonna be off next week and I'm gonna enjoy myself, but we will get that GoFundMe going, so don't worry.
No, no, no.
You have to
I'm just
trust me.
asking. I'm just asking because I wanna go to the south, and I'm trying to find my man there. So like, my plan like long term, it's to try to move over there. So like, I don't know whether it's Texas or some other state, but yeah. So like, is there like a lot of country men out there? Like,
Yeah, in Fort Worth, it's basically like a country city, like a cowboy city.
oh my god.
Yeah. So, um, but yeah, Texas is great. Lots of jobs. More conservative than the Northeast for
Yeah.
sure. And it's family oriented. Everyone carries guns here, so there's not a lot of like like good luck if you're a thief here and
Oh.
a burglar here in Texas. And no state income tax. And every single female political feminist rally ends in like 1 hour because people have to go to work. So yeah. Um, but anyway, Estrella, it was very nice talking to you. Thank you for your time and your insight and your perspective. Hopefully, I was able to like clear some things up for you, and I hope that you get your flowers eventually. Your man that gives you flowers every week.
Without me
So
having to say anything about it, not every week though.
without you having to say anything about it, there you go. That's the part. Because it doesn't count if you have to be like, "Give me flowers now." So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and
Thank you.
we'll talk later. Bye.
All right. Bye.